She told me it's a tumor, and she said that it would be 6 months if I don't go for treatment, and 1.5 years if I decided to go for treatment. So to me, it was like it's a death sentence, right? Because whether you go for treatment or not, you're going to die. I was a Christian at about 19. I accepted Christ, and my walk with Him was very close. Then I started work, got married, had 3 children, and I had to look after my mother and grandmother. And so slowly, I started drifting away. I spent less time with God. Of course, we gave ourselves the excuse that, God will understand. In September 2017, I suddenly had a cough, and I was a bit concerned because that cough didn't go off. Then came August, I suddenly started losing appetite, losing weight. I could feel that something was really not right. So on Christmas Eve of 2018, I decided to check into hospital. What happened was that I had a tumor in my uterus. It's actually the endometrial cancer, and I asked the oncologist then what was my diagnosis. She told me it's a tumor, and she said that it would be 6 months if I don't go for treatment, and 1.5 years if I decided to go for treatment. So to me, it was like it's a death sentence, right? Because whether you go for treatment or not, you're going to die. When I was ill, I was hospitalized in the SGH. A lot of people and church members came to visit me, pray for me, and they shared testimony of other people who got well. But somehow I just didn't feel like praying with them. I didn't feel like reading the Bible with them. I felt very envious, at that point in time, because it's different when you come and visit a person in hospital, right? And then you go off, and I'm still lying there, frustrated now. And even when I'm lying there and I had a window and I could look out of the window, I could only see the top of the buildings opposite, and I can only imagine what people were doing downstairs. And I would be watching day turn to night, night turn to day. I just cried a lot in the hospital. Yeah, it's really, we just felt very frustrated. Yeah. I had chemotherapy for about 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks, we did a scan, right? And we were hopeful that the chemo was working, but unfortunately, the scan showed that the tumor was still the same, and the chemo was not working. Right? So we started immunotherapy. I had been staying in hospital for about 3.5 months, and so it was time for me to go home, not knowing what's next. So when I was at home, right, I had all the time to myself, and I had time to read the Bible. I had time to reflect, and I realized that actually the Bible has the formula for a healthy life. It has the formula also for eternity. Right, death is a certainty. Right, no one can run away from it. However, we can live life in such a way that we can prepare for eternity. And I told myself that maybe I shouldn't be sitting at home doing nothing. And I told God, I said, God, tell me what you want me to do. And so I went for the women's cell group in my church. We started having the cell group in my home. And it has been a good group. It has grown to a group of about 8, and we are still going strong. Yeah, I think the thing is, when you ask God, God, please use me, then you also have to listen to His voice, and it can be quite frightening because He can be telling you or prompting you to do some things that you're not familiar with or not very comfortable with. I've never gave Bible studies. I never had the confidence because I knew that my Bible knowledge was not very strong. But last night I started Bible study with my Myanmarese helper. I was able to guide her in her learning. So when I went home from April, I had just started my immunotherapy. The scan that I did in June showed that actually the immunotherapy was starting to work. And we did another scan in October. And by then, the tumor had shrunk from 15 centimeters to 1.1 centimeters. And I went for surgery at the end of October. And the report shows that the the immunotherapy had worked and there were no more signs of malignant cancer cells. It was definitely a miracle in my life. The thing about it was when my uncle spoke to me, she said that surgery was just to remove the primary source of the tumor. It was not going to cure me. And because I started off with a stage 4 cancer, the possibility of recurrence is also very high. At this point in time of my life, I know that the future is uncertain. Although I'm so-called clear of cancer, we also know that the possibility of recurrence is always there. My review with doctor is once in 3 weeks, and we will do some blood tests. And she will check on my hemoglobin level, my kidneys, my thyroids, my renal functions, and then she will review the results with me. I will worry. I think it's only human to worry. And each time has strengthened my faith, because each time we see the miracles happening. And what is trust really? Trust is a journey, right? It's not a destination. So we need to be kind to ourselves that it's okay to feel the fear, right? But we just need to trust in Him. Somehow there's a sense of joy and gratefulness and thankfulness in my life. Each time I'm able to feel hungry, right? I'm very thankful because in hospital I couldn't even manage a piece of bread. Each time I can walk, I'm very grateful because in hospital I was lying in bed and I had to be helped out of bed. And I'm very grateful for each moment of life. So the other day when I was asked whether I want to go for overseas training in June, I was very enthusiastic. I said I wanted to go. But when I think about it, I realize, I may not be around, but it's okay. If the time comes and I'm not available to go, someone else can take over. It's not a problem. I know that God has been there with me. And if things take a turn for the worse, all right, then I will have to accept that that's God's plan for me, His will for my life. In the time that He's given me here on earth now, I want to be able to make good use of the time, and to do whatever I can to do what He wants for us, to be able to share the gospel with others. If our faith is in Jesus, we know that even if we die now, we have the hope of eternal life.